this is a chef's jacket.
Yeah.
And I can't cook.
Thank you.
And that's all I want you to know. This is a piece called The Lineup. After I've had my coffee, kissed my loved one, closed the front door, and whispered low so the neighbors can't hear, "Goodbye, house," I settle myself into the car, slip in a CD, music without words, for the words will come soon enough. Words are racing towards me as I race towards work, a libretto of patient stories, accompanied by the singing gurney wheels in the hospital halls, the bells, buzzers, and cell phones ringing out just outside my exam room door. I pull out of the driveway into the street, see a pickup truck roar up in my rearview mirror. I lay on the horn. Fool. He narrowly misses me. I narrowly miss him. What a jerk to not slow down. Then recognize it's my neighbor, his big, sunny head behind the green truck steering wheel. I honk and wave, a wave that says, "Forgive me, I didn't see you." And he waves back a wave that says, "Oh, that's all right. No harm, no foul." I notice how snappy he looks on his way to work, sporting his white chef's jacket. I know he's wearing his black and white checked chef pants, is headed for a homeless shelter in the Tenderloin, where he's the head cook. He looks so different on the weekends in his faded jeans and holey t-shirt, just another suburban homebody out mowing the lawn, the back and forth motion he makes across the green grass as imprinted on his DNA as that neighborly wave. Last Sunday, he and I were standing in the middle of the street, and I was complaining about my boss. What an asshole. He turned to me and he said, "If you let your boss get to you, then you drink the acid you meant for him to have. You drink that poison." I started to argue. Didn't he understand how I'd been screwed? But I knew he was right. Ill will, no matter how much you've been done wrong, leaves a bitter taste on the tongue. When you swallow, that taste stays bitter all the way down. My neighbor's a big man with a big heart, yet as I drive away, he gets smaller in my rearview mirror. With each second, he diminishes until his pickup turns into a toy truck. I picture him driving to a shelter that's as tiny as a dollhouse, with little cots and blankets the size of tiny hankies, where the homeless drink their soup out of itsy thimbles. Years ago, I worked in a soup kitchen. I, who can't cook, I wanted to do some good and thought, how hard could it be to ladle out a warm meal to people who need it, something tasty and filling? And so the soup people took me on. The first night, I was asked to warm up a big 5-gallon buckets of frozen split pea soup. I pried open the top of the bucket, transferred chunks of the frozen stuff into a huge stock pot on the kitchen's industrial stove. I lit the pilot, turned the flame up high, heated the soup until the icy chunks unfroze like the Yukon in springtime, until steam rose to form watery clouds above the stove, and the split peas were bobbing in a boiling sea. That night, the families lined up, those who were down on their luck or who had lost their luck, who had never had any luck to begin with. Ever since the sun went down, they'd been waiting in a line outside the building. When the doors opened up, they came up one by one, and I ladled up the soup, smiling, proud as if I'd made it myself from scratch. It didn't take long. One by one, people brought their bowls back, each thick, beet green soup barely touched, the split peas floating like capsized lifeboats. The stuff was burnt, inedible. They, who were very, very hungry, wouldn't even touch that soup. By the time I get to the freeway, their faces fade away, they diminish. I'm on automatic pilot all the way to the hospital, and I start to think about the ones who are waiting for me in that lineup. First, the guy I call heroin addict, who'll have story, who'll tell me how he lost his script for methadone. See, it must have fallen out of my pocket on that rainy day we had last week. As I watch his hands shake, I'll think back to 5th grade science class, the lesson about where rain comes from, how water evaporates from the ocean into the clouds start to rain, how the groundwater flows to the sea, and then it all starts over again. The cycle begins again, just like his story will. Next will be Pain Man, who'll start up the minute he walks in, who'll say, "Will you check my labs again?" And I'll say, all of your blood work is normal. And he'll shout, "You're wrong, all of you are dead wrong." The diabetic will answer my first query with, "No slip-ups lately. She's been staying off sugar," but on further questioning will admit, "Well, I sometimes have strawberry jam on toast." And when I ask how often she has that, she says 5 times a day. I'll ask Goth Girl if she's been taking her antidepressants, and she'll say she's way too depressed to take pills. Anyway, they're not natural. The young vet on anti-anxiety drugs will hold up his cell phone and say, "Here, I took the shot where my pills dropped on the wet bathroom floor." He'll show me a tiny, grainy photo showing grainy white dots on a grainy public stall floor, and am I supposed to believe this? To count this technological post-it note as irrefutable evidence? I step on the gas, I accelerate with each story. It's as if they're all in the car with me, as if I'm the driver of a bus full of everyone in that lineup. Miles of freeway blow past, the Dow's been up and down and up again. Get up for the day, that's what I need to do, get up. Every morning this is how it goes until, not far from the hospital, 2 blocks to be exact. Right after I drive by the children's park surrounded by barbed wire fence, there's a spot. I come to a spot in the road. There's nothing on the asphalt to mark it, no big red X, but I know when I hit the spot makes a weird sort of sound that edges out all the others. The street sounds, the sirens, the growing chorus of need. Is it the sound of some distant bell, a memory, a warning, reminding me of something important, something I've forgotten to pay attention to? Then again, maybe I'm inserting a sound when there is none. Maybe at this spot there's an absence of sound, a Bermuda Triangle of soundlessness. So all I'm left with are the words inside my head, a voice from deep inside that whispers, "Okay, stop it now, stop it now. Judge not, lest ye be judged." To hear the voice better, I turn around and tell everyone on the bus to pipe down. Pain Man gives me a look but stops talking, and everyone else follows suit. Before you know it, we're in front of the hospital. I pull into the parking lot, wave to the parking attendant, cross the dead grass that'll never need mowing, and enter the old county hospital, that brick building that'll crumble in the next Tembler. Oh, what a sound that'll make. We'll all go together. Every one of us will all go in a poof. I pull the first chart off the exam room door, go to the reception room, and there he is, heroin addict, slumped in a chair. I signal him with a wave of my hand, a wave that says, "Come on in." 8 hours later, I push open the hospital doors to the street, and it hits me like a wave, the sounds and smells that have accumulated around the building and created their own atmosphere of human sweat, urine, curses, exhaust. Before I get in my car, I take off my white lab coat, longer in length, but really not so very different from my neighbor's white chef jacket. And that's when I look down and realize I'm wearing my good slacks, the ones with the tiny black and white check pattern in the weave, just like his. We could be twins, my neighbor and I, in our matching outfits, and I'd lay bets we've seen the same people today. They've gone to him for food that tastes good, for he is a good cook. The soup bowls came back to him as empty as the scooped-out bowl of this white sky, and they've come to me for medical care, for sometimes I hear what they're saying below the words, all the words. I get into my car, thank the parking attendant, and as I go to pull into the flow of traffic, he waves his hand in a way that signals that no one's coming, it's safe to leave the lot. I drive down the street, and what do you know? They're all on the bus again. Heroin addict, who just today told me his mother was an addict and whose father was an addict, and when you think about it, who is he to not carry on the line? Goth girl, who earlier when I questioned her looked happy when she admitted she wasn't taking her meds. It's the first time she's brightened in months. There was some spark in that small defiance, and isn't it one of the best things in life? Jam spread on toast, strawberry jam and apricot jam and marmalade with tiny orange flecks of rind. The diabetic is in heaven when she spreads it on. I can taste how good that would be, how 1 tablespoon or 5 of that sweetness could help fill each day. The young vet told me he's thinking of taking a photography course. He'd be good at it, I can tell. Those cell phone shots show he's got a good eye, and sitting next to him is Pain Man, who has a broken heart that nothing will fix. We'll never find a test that will lay his search to rest, and judgment won't find a seat on this bus, or rancor, or ill will. This bus is already full. There's not one empty seat. I keep my eye on the road. We're coming up to the children's park, and that's when I hit it. The same spot I hit coming in, but now there's a different sound, one you can barely hear. If you listen closely, it sounds like sighing. I can hear them sighing. Everyone is sighing. Everyone who is on this bus, everyone who has been in a line today, and all those sighs become a breeze that sings and clears the day's old stale air away. If there were words for this music, if I were to write the libretto for this breeze, the refrain would be, "What diminishes thee, diminishes me." Further down the road, the steering on this bus could go, or a careening car could miss the stoplight and plow right into us. I didn't see him coming, he'll say when the cops question the man behind the wheel. They were right in front of me all the time, but I didn't see him coming.